Is New Amsterdam based on a true story? Who got advice from Grey's Anatomy's McDreamy when he landed the role? And which main cast member actually hates the sight of blood? Hi, I'm Janet. Let's get straight into it. Buy the book. If you're an avid viewer of New Amsterdam, you've no doubt asked yourself, is this show based on reality or is it all fiction? You'd be surprised to know that it in fact is based on a true story. The show is a real-life adaptation of a book, actually a memoir to be precise. 12 Patients, Life and Death at Bellevue Hospital was written by Dr. Eric Mannheimer, who spent over a decade at Bellevue Hospital as their medical director.
He really made a lot of changes for the better and kind of pushed back against the system and the institution of it and the bureaucracy of it all and tried to get back to really helping people.
Ryan Eggold's character, Dr. Max Goodwin, is based on Dr. Mannheimer himself. The series also mirrors some of Dr. Mannheimer's personal life. As 11 years into his job, he was diagnosed with a type of skin cancer similar to Max's journey with throat cancer. Ryan Eggold is deeply moved by Dr. Mannheimer's story and all the good he has done for the hospital. He said in an interview with Parade.com, "So, for me, the most inspiring part about this story is that even when overwhelming odds are not in your favor, you really still can make a difference." The show also takes many of its creative cues from Dr. Mannheimer's notebooks that he kept throughout his career. There are 150 altogether. The writers and producers often approach him with questions about how to handle certain situations with various patients, so the show can mimic reality as closely as possible. How cool! What's also amazing is where the show is filmed. Stay tuned to find out. Location, location, location. While the show is filmed in various locations around New York City, the hospital itself is a major character in itself. The first few scenes of the first episode were actually shot in the lobby of Bellevue Hospital itself. Did you know that Bellevue Hospital is the oldest public hospital in America? Yes, the same hospital where Dr. Mannheimer worked. That's pretty exciting. Another coincidence? Dr. Mannheimer trained at Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn back in the late 1970s. Some 40-odd years later, 2 floors of that same hospital are being used to film New Amsterdam. So most of the hospital remains fully functioning with real doctors, nurses, and patients. Check out this clip Anupam Kher shared.
What do you do here?
I'm a first-year resident physician working at this hospital.
You're an actual doctor?
Yes, I'm an actual doctor.
The series is also shot at the Metropolitan Hospital in Harlem and sound stages in Mount Vernon and Yonkers.
The setting could be described as the 7th character in itself. I mean, it's very alive and it's happening.
Ryan Eggold loves the fact that they shoot in a real hospital because it allows him to interact with real doctors and nurses while they are doing their jobs. He also loves to watch real patients, and the variety of emotions that their families go through lends authenticity to his character and the role he plays. In an interview with Parade.com, he said, "There's a lot of humanity in one place. So, to see that going on reminds me of the story we are trying to tell." Sounds like the cast get a lot of their inspiration from their environment. That's just amazing. Inside jokes. Shooting the series involves memorizing lines and long hours on set with the same people. And we all know what tiredness can do to people.
The toughest is when you're tired. Yeah, and you're like on hour 14 and you're like, ugh, and your brain goes to sort of mush.
But who are the biggest pranksters on the set of New Amsterdam? Well, according to Ryan Eggold, Freema Eggman, and Janet Montgomery, Tyler Labine is definitely one of the main culprits, along with Anupam Kher and Jocko Sims. But Ryan admits, when the 6 of us are in a scene, it's a disaster. We can't stop joking because we have so few opportunities for all 6 of us to be in the same scene. And what's really great about this cast is that they're actually friends in real life too. They often get together for dinner, sometimes even cooking. Janet's specialty? An English roast. Ooh, yum. But it wasn't always peaches and cream. Pretty much all of the cast weren't terribly excited about acting in another medical drama series. Tyler Labine, who you would know better as Dr. Iggy Frome, said he initially refused to even read the pilot script, but eventually did when his agent persisted. And boy, are we glad he did. Turns out the only cast member who jumped on board immediately was Jocko Sims. The actor, who loves his role as Dr. Flloyd Reynolds, said in an interview with New York Daily News, "I wanted to be a doctor. I used to be smart." Turns out Jocko didn't want the many years of studying at medical school and opted to join the theater department when he attended UCLA. Did you know that when Jocko landed the role, his first call was to Eric Dane, McDreamy, or Dr. Mark Sloan from Grey's Anatomy? Yup, Jocko wanted some advice, and Eric told him, "The most important thing I learned is you are not a real doctor." They might not be real doctors, but the surgeries look pretty lifelike, don't you think? Blood and guts. Someone who hates blood, even the fake blood that is used on set, is none other than Dr. Max Goodwin himself. Ryan says he is repulsed by all the gory details of the medical profession. Funny that he finds himself playing a doctor. But Ryan has nothing but admiration for the real doctors and nurses in the world. His whole family work in the medical field. He said in an interview with Stuff.co, "My folks are doctors. My sister is a nurse, and they actually do it for real. So I have the most respect for them doing that." The set of New Amsterdam comes with medical advisors, who make sure the actors know everything about the surgeries they will perform on an episode, as well as the correct medical terminology that goes along with it. But they don't have hours to learn these things. According to Jocko Sims, or Dr. Flloyd Reynolds, the head of the hospital's cardiac surgery unit, he has about 10 minutes to learn how to perform any given medical procedure when he arrives on set. 10 minutes!
Vassalgia. I'm gonna say, I can't even guess.
What does Jocko struggle with the most? Suturing. He admitted that putting together a stitch is quite the challenge for him. So, if he fumbles, his medical advisor on set, who has been practicing medicine for nearly 27 years, sometimes takes over for him. Jocko said in an interview with Daily Bruin, "He's making sure I look like I know what I'm doing, and making it look like I've been to school for 12 years and I've done 200 of these surgeries." Learning all those medical words must be really tough. But if you act like you know what you're doing, who's gonna know, right?
Please go ahead and say it.
Sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. Sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia.
It's something with nostalgia about gangrene.
Nostalgic for your gangrene days.
Or not. The Queen's English. New Amsterdam may be set in New York, but some of your favorite doctors are actually, in fact, from across the pond. The most obvious person would have to be Freema Agneman, who plays Dr. Helen Sharp, only because she doesn't change her accent for the role. Freema has had a long and successful career, with appearances in hits like Doctor Who as Martha Jones and Sense8 as Amanita Kaplan. But someone you may not know who is also British is Helen's best friend, Lauren. Yes, Janet Montgomery, the raven-haired beauty who plays Dr. Lauren Bloom, is from Bournemouth, England. Prior to her role on New Amsterdam, Lauren appeared in Merlin as Princess Mithian and Downton Abbey as Frida Dudley Ward. What drew Janet to a role on this show?
And what I like about Bellevue, which was what it was initially written about, is that it's sort of a manic hospital where they're just trying to see as many people as they can. You get drug addicts off the street, you get people coming from abroad to Bellevue, and they try and treat everybody. So I like that manicness.
How amazing is her accent? Stranger than fiction. Filming a medical drama series obviously comes with what Tyler Labine terms weird scenes. The show explores so many aspects of strange cases, it's no wonder the actors have to put themselves in odd situations. The strangest situation for Tyler, who plays Dr. Iggy Frome, came in season 2 when he met one of his most intense patients. Juliet is a young patient of his who we soon discover has psychopathic tendencies. And at one point in a scene with the young girl, who is played by Emma Ming Hong, she insults him and spits in his face. Now, in the movie world, there are various effects that can be applied so that Tyler didn't actually have to be spit on. But Tyler wanted to add more authenticity to the scene, making the experience more real for himself and the viewers. So, after gaining consent from Emma and her parents, she agreed to do it. Tyler said in an interview, "It was weird. Someone just hawking up a loogie and spitting in your face. That elicits a response out of you whether you wanted to or not." Tyler had nothing but praise for Emma's performance. Have you watched the episode? What did you think? Let us know in the comments. Fond farewell. Series regulars come and go, and unfortunately for us, one of the original members of the New Amsterdam cast will soon be leaving the show. Dr. Vijay Kapoor, who is played by Anupam Kher, who you may recognize from Sense8 or Silver Linings Playbook, has resigned. Sadly, Anupam's wife has been battling cancer and is undergoing many treatments, so he will be taking the time to spend with his wife, who we hope will come out stronger than before. He said in an interview with EW, "Keep sending your love to her in your prayers and in your heart. She is well on her way to recovery, and we thank everyone for their support and love. We will definitely miss Dr. Kapoor, who was without a doubt the heart and soul of the New Amsterdam Hospital." Want to know more about the New Amsterdam cast? Check out our video about their real-life partners. Subscribe, stay tuned, and stay awesome.